Hey everybody, welcome to Enliven Wellness. My name is Tessa Gurley and I'm an integrative medicine practitioner in training, here to tell you a little bit about the connection between mold and like CIRS and Lyme survivors and being an empath. Now, first of all, please subscribe and like and comment on these videos. Also, if you're interested in learning how I'm recovering and you want to work with me one-on-one, please email me at tgurley7@gmail.com and say I'm ready. Now, all right, being like an empath, let's first define what an empath is, because chances are you are one if you're on this channel. Because a lot of times what I have found with my clients is that we're all empaths. So what is an empath? An empath is somebody who feels really deeply. Like we just feel, we're very sensitive. We feel everything like in the world, you know what I mean? So like we can even feel like you're probably the kind of person that can like tell, you know, when somebody is mad. You're the kind of person that can feel when someone is not telling the truth. You might get really like overwhelmed by sights and sounds and smells and sensations. You may also get really like anxious in traffic. You may you may need a lot of alone time in order to feel better. There's a lot of different, you might be like EMF sensitive, multiple chemical sensitive, you know, have chronic fatigue, have these different, this is what I'm saying. There's a connection between being an empath and being a sufferer of these chronic conditions. I see it in client after client. It's nothing new to me now. And I'm like, I started seeing this and I was like, wow, because all of my clients have the most beautiful hearts in the world. And it's just like, and then they're suffering from these issues that are just like beyond, you know, they're just beyond. Like, you know the list of symptoms, right? I mean, you guys out there watching, you know, you have the light sensitivity, the weird balance problems, the, you know, digestive issues, the shortness of breath, the anxiety, the depression, the fatigue, the muscle pains, the joint pains, the hair falling out, the, oh my gosh, I mean, what else? Weight gain, weight loss, drinking too much water, never feeling thirst, never feeling satisfied, you know, peeing all the time, not peeing enough, you know, just like freaking weird symptoms. You guys know the list of symptoms if you're suffering from CIRS or mold or Lyme, all of these things now. And yet all of you are probably empaths too. You're probably empaths too, and I know this at such a deep level because I'm one, and all my clients are. And I've just been seeing this deep intertwining connection, and I am going to present a little theory here. And it's kind of out there, and I may get some, you know, pushback on this from people, but again, like this is just, it was a topic that a lot of my viewers were like, make a video. So I'm going to. And it's a little theory about the HLA-DR SNP. All right, so those of us who are sensitive to mold and Lyme and those kinds of toxins, a lot of us have the gene, the HLA-DR, and it's a SNP, it's a variation in a genetic sequence that makes us a little bit more susceptible to mold and all of these biotoxins. And we have a little bit of a harder time clearing them. So I sat down one night and I was like, oh my gosh, like I wonder if this HLA-DR genetic variation is almost like the empath gene, or somehow linked to being an empath. And I thought, this is fascinating, because basically what having that gene SNP says is that we have a harder time clearing toxins from our system. Hear that, clearing toxins from our system. So if that's the case, then that sounds a whole lot like being an empath, because we tend to be very sensitive to toxins around us, or we feel very overwhelmed. And so our systems get overwhelmed very easily. And that's what happens in people with the HLA-DR as well. We have a harder time clearing toxins from our system. And isn't that kind of what happens with empaths? Again, I was like, okay, this is really interesting. And then I started to think about the deep, deep, deep connections between up here and the physical. The mind-body connection is so real, y'all. It's so real, and you know that because you experience it on the daily. So I sat back again and I thought, well, could it be that a lot of these symptoms that we suffer from, I'm not saying that there's not a physical component, right? I'm not saying that there's not a physical component, but what if one of the biggest components to all of your symptoms is because you simply feel so intensely? What if it's just because you feel so intensely, and that's why you get this weird ass list of symptoms, because you feel all the feels? And it's almost like you're taking, like, I know that as me as an empath, and I know that a lot of you out there too have been feeling like all of the anxiety in the world, all of the difficulties that are going on in the world, and like there are waves of energy, and I'm sure you can feel them. Like some days you're like, what the heck is going on? And then other days it's like, I can breathe, you know what I mean? And like, and I see this in clients, like I see like, you know, there are certain weeks where it's just like client after client is in crisis mode. And then there's other weeks where everyone's like, fine, things are fine. And I'm like, you know, and I kind of feel the same way. You know, I ride that wave with you. So a lot of us are like feeling the weight of the world. A lot of us are feeling the anxiety of the world. A lot of us are feeling the chaos in the world. We're feeling these things. It's just what happens. And you might say, oh my God, this girl's Looney Tunes. Or you might say like, this is the real deal. Okay, like it is the real deal. And like, you know, at least in my opinion, and perhaps in yours as well. Because again, I had to make a video about this because it's just too much of a pattern that I'm seeing. And I really wanted to just like come out and like make a quick little video first. I'll make more series on this. If you're interested, please let me know in the comments down below. But again, could it be that those of us suffering from this inflammation disease, you know, and like these chronic conditions, all of you are empaths? There's such a connection, and I'm not saying that there's not a physical reason. I'm not. What I am saying is that, are we overlooking one of the main important things here, which is that you are empathic and that you just feel everything going on around you and that you can feel everything. You're just a very sensitive person, and that's not a weakness. Being sensitive is not a weakness. It just means that you are attuned and that you are a sensitive person. It doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, being a sensitive person means that you are really effing strong because you have to deal with all the shit. You have to deal with it all. It's hard, so you are a warrior and a warrioress, and you are badass. Do not think that you're weak. You're just an empath. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Again, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, if you're suffering from these empathic things, all of these different symptoms, I have had all of them too. Had all of them. I don't have them anymore. You can get there too. Please email me at tgirly7@gmail.com and say I'm ready. Check out my website, enliven-wellness.com, and please join us live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for Ask Me Anything Tuesdays, and I go live often because I want this to be a place of healing and hope and recovery. So, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful evening. Blessings to you, and I love you all. Bye.